I know it's like trendy or whatever to plant seeds in snowbanks these days, but like, why would that even work? I'm so glad you asked, because now I get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is why seeds do the things they do. Seeds have lots of ways of knowing when it's the right time to sprout, because they can't sprout in the fall when winter's about to hit. They have to wait until spring, and so they have to know when spring is. And that can be a whole other video talking about the different ways seeds do that. But if you think about it, when you are growing plants that are adapted to cold regions, what do you have to do? You have to cold stratify the seeds. They expect a winter. You have to do things like put them in damp sand in the back of the refrigerator and take them out and put them in and take them out and put them in. That gets annoying. So instead, what you can do is put them in a container of soil with some holes in the top and bottom and put them outside in your snowbank. They are now naturally going to get all those periods of cold and thaw that they expect to, that is part of their genetic design. And that's why this technique works so well for cold climate perennials like bee balm and common milkweed. But cold adapted perennials are not the only kinds of plants you can use for winter sowing. I like to use it for things like peas and plants in the brassica family, things that you wouldn't normally self-sow in the garden in the fall in a region like mine that gets a ton of snow over the winter, but that don't need that cold stratification. What's the advantage of having them in your winter sowing box? Well, they're going to start sooner than the ones you plant in the spring, of course, because your garden is frozen. And they're not going to rot by being out in the winter. If you sow those seeds in your garden in the fall and leave them all winter, they are sitting there too long. They're not made for this climate. They are going to rot in place. But in your nicely well draining container, they're not going to rot. So you can plant them in January or February, be hands off until the snow melts, and they're going to start sooner than the plants in your garden will. Okay, you are way too excited about this. I do not care.